What would you say is your favorite 12 bars of blues guitar? And just guitar solo wise. For me, it's Albert King's 1966 recording of Crosscut Saw. I love the vibe. I love the feel of the song. I love the way that he physically plays with his fingers. But most of all, I love the phrase structure. And I've always thought it was a great thing to teach my students to get them to make sense when they play 12-bar blues. So we're going to take a look at it today. I'm Mark Ween from Jack's Guitar Tracks. If you look below this video in the video description, you're going to find links to the PDF that you can print out with a tablature. You're going to find a link to the original recording of the song here on YouTube and some other resources for you to use. The first thing we're going to talk about is the fact that I don't have a pick in my hands today. Albert King played his guitar left-handed. He had it pretty much strung normally with light strings. He'd pull the strings down to bend them, and he used his thumb and his index finger to pick instead of actually using a pick. You can see that in some of the videos that I'm going to share underneath. For right now, I'm just going to be picking with my fingers. I like the sound. When I start playing this kind of thing, it's a little sharper sounding. I think it gets closer to the sound of Albert than if I was to use a pick and to play normally. We're going to take a look at this in 3 4-bar phrases. This is kind of how I break down most 12-bar blues. This one especially is great for this because it makes a lot of sense. It's got this great question and answer structure to it. It's one of the things I love teaching my students because it really gives them the ability to hear how someone like Albert King, or even just how somebody would sing a 12-bar blues and actually melodically make sense. So the first phrase, the first 4 bars, 2, 3, 4. All right, we start off with a pickup phrase, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1. All right, and what the pickup phrase does is it gives your line a little bit of authority. You're coming in before the first full measure of music. This actually starts on the and of 3. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1. And the notes are 8 on the 3rd string, 9 twice on the 2nd string, and 7 on the 1st string. That 7 is the minor third of that pentatonic scale, because we're in the key of A flat, by the way. And what a lot of guys will do is whenever they play that minor third in a pentatonic scale, they'll give it a little quarter step tweak, right, and pushing it towards the major third. So it fits over the 7th chord, the chord that we're playing over, a little bit better. So that's the first phrase. That's the question. And then he answers it. He starts off on the 1st string on the 7th fret, whole step bend, and 7-4, and then 7-4 again, and then 4 on the next string. And then he plays the 9th fret on the 2nd string, which is actually the root of the scale again, and then the minor third with the tweak on the 7th fret. All right, this is cool. You get this little bit of a development of a really simple idea there. All right, so all together, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 1. Then we move on to the next one, 2, 3, 4. All right, so that part there, we start on the 9th fret on the 1st string, bend it up a whole step, and then the 7th fret, a little tweak, 9, 9, and then he kind of quietly plays the 7 at the end of that phrase. And we move back down to the 4th fret, 4, whole step bend on 7, and then 7-4, and then 2 more of those 7s with the quarter step bend, and then you resolve on the A flat on the 4th fret on the 1st string, which is the root. The last phrase we're actually going to break it down a little bit. The 3rd phrase in a 12-bar blues usually is the busiest. It's almost like you're making a statement and answering it, you're restating, answering it, but the 3rd phrase is kind of like the punchline or the place where the story really gets told. So we're starting off with a whole step bend from the 6th fret up to the E flat there, and then we play the E flat on the 4th fret on the 2nd string, and then the 4th fret on the 1st string. Notice I use my first finger for both of those. And then 7-4-7 on the 2nd string. And then he goes 4 on both the 1st and 2nd strings, 7-4 on the 2nd string, and then he ends that phrase on the 6 on the 3rd string. To me, that's kind of the first half of the phrase of the question. And then that part to me is the answer from this, right? So 4 on the second, first, second again, whole step bend from on the 7th on the 1st fret, or on the 1st string, and then 7, 4, and then those little quarter step bends on 7 again. And then you're going to play the root, the A flat, on the 1st string on the 4th fret, but then he immediately in the next beat goes up to the same note on the 2nd string. You hear Clapton do this, you hear Freddie King do this a lot. A lot of guys where they'll play the same note on 2 strings and it actually enhances the phrasing. It gives us something a little bit extra. Here, what we're doing is we're going 9, 7 on the 2nd string, 8, and then 6, and then 4, little quarter step bend, because that's also the 3rd. That's that note there. And then he's going 6 on the 4th string, 5th string. Then he's walking from 4, 5, and 6 on the 4th string up to the root of the A flat chord. Right? And that's a great ending lick for anything. So this solo, I'll play the whole thing one more time. You can kind of get a sense of what the whole structure is going to be like. Notice I count the long rests in here. I want to make sure that where I'm playing is actually where I'm supposed to be playing. Otherwise, it really doesn't sound like the melody. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3, 4, 1. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. And there you have it. All right, I hope you found this lesson useful and that you enjoyed it. Remember, in the comments below, leave any questions or suggestions you have for future lessons. In the video description, there are links for the printable PDF and other resources, including the original recording of this song you can listen to. And don't forget to hit subscribe. Please, we're going to be having a weekly lesson. I've got backing tracks coming out, all kinds of resources for you, and you'll get notifications for when all that stuff happens. Thanks.